Can you move? Good boy. Good boy. Dogs don't like to be patted on the top of the head, and they don't like to have arms over the back of them like this. Even though he's being sooky, I'm going to show you with him, he's being discomfort. I'm not putting weight on him, I'm just putting my arm there. So he's doing everything he can to move away. As friendly as he is, he's going to start to show you some anxious body language and behaviour. Dogs really don't like to be patted on the top of the head. They accept this bit, they accept this, and they don't really, because they know us. When you touch them under the chin the first time when you're meeting them, it can actually assimilate. There's a really clever guy with dogs called the Dreadlock Dog Guy. Touching under the chin is like when animals ask for feed and doing it in the first time meeting, not every time and not all this, but just you having a hand, or with dogs cuddling across the back of stuff like this, you'll see him wanting to move anywhere and everywhere. How you doing? So that's a controlling lick and nudge. He's not happy with his little appeasement thing. So this is just a matter of a dog that I've known for a fairly long time. He's now accepting of it, but as you've seen, he wasn't real happy. So giving a cuddle to your dog, or the new dogs, or when they snap at something and looking at that as a negative, all they've really got to be done is given a direction of, if he was to snap or keep being anxious, or okay, can you move please? Okay, hop down. Somewhere else. Hop up there if you want, or that way. I don't care where. Move. Thanks. If you get those highly anxious dogs, then you've just got to give them a direction. If they don't come back, sit down, they're not generally going to lay down when they're really anxious, especially if they're around other animals. But sitting down near you, especially if you're crouched down with a hand near it, that you know the dog patting them or giving them those ear scratches, give them a direction. If you can have another toy or something to distract them, that's great. Generally under high stress and things, they're not going to want to play with the toy or eat food, but giving them something else to do, having a long lead, having one that they can't instantly chew through because they're going to be stressed and anxious. This is just a $10 one from Kmart, Target, Colt, whatever, Big W. Used to be the tie-out ones with a screw in, $15 I think, some of them. But they've got metal inside. But for the really anxious dogs, if you... Come here. Lily. Come here. How you doing? I'm going to sit there. You sit down for me? Oh, good sitting. Do you want to hop up here? And do you want to sit? Thanks. I don't sniff you. Very good. So when dogs, when they're sniffing your face, if you know them, once again, if you close your eyes, dogs use blinking as a calming signal and an appeasement gesture and stuff like that as well. If you close your eyes, I don't lick you, you don't lick me. Okay. That's a sort of sign to come. The opposite in cats, when people who don't like cats end up sitting back and leaning away and stuff for cats, or squinting your eyes is actually a come sign for cats. So really, if you wanted them not to come, you should sit there with your eyes really open and just blow some air like down near that, down in that sort of area, and that'll get the cats to go away, because closing your eyes for cats is come. Closing your eyes for dogs, it is sort of a release and a relaxed thing too. I guess it is similar. It is a relaxed thing too, but they use blinking. So when you've got the really stressed or anxious dogs, sneezing is an appeasement or calming. There's a paw saying, come on. You want to cuddle? You don't mind cuddles though. So yeah, it's basically giving the stressed dog something else to do when they're unsettled. If they keep trying to run away, get a 10 meter lead, tie it on there, crouch down. If it keeps running away, get the other dogs in the area or yourself, get the other dogs to chill out or to relax, and then yourself in a lower position. Wait, here, come back here. Stop. Why don't you hop there? Wait, stay there. Thanks. So if I wanted this dog to come to me, instead of being front on to her like that, I would actually turn it like 45 degrees. Good shake. She's over the last event. Then I'd crouch down sideways. I don't go towards the animal. I normally have a hand moving motion like this just to give something moving. Dogs won't generally bite a non-moving object, so they're also attracted by movement. They're demonstrative out of the body, moving your hands for dogs with a really long nose, or the technical brachiocephalic or whatever. Longer the nose, the dog sees the world more like a panoramic picture, where when it's more squished or flat-faced or whatever else you want to say, brachiocephalic. That they look at the world more like a telescope, so that they can focus more on facial features. How you doing? It's a little bit of control, but good high five. Do you want to do the other hand? Do this hand. Cheers. Good girl. And so they look at the world like a lot more focusing on facial features and things like this. There was recently a study done where they said that dogs don't understand whether it's your face or the back of your head, utilising an MRI. I don't doubt that the data that they received was the information that they believed was meant to be, but dogs know your face. They use eye contact. They don't use treats or pats. They don't carry treat bags, do ya? Good. What if you go... They use hand signals. For each other, they use eye contact. So for me, you think she's looking any different there than there? I don't know. You tell me if it's just responding off my face or not. Okay. Watch out for Cody dog. Cody, Cody. Cody dog, come here. Cody. Doing cuddle. This one's looking for a home, just quietly. If anyone wants a wolfhound, she used to not be able to live with dogs. How you doing? How you doing? So she used to not, yeah, we're friends. So she used to not be able to live with dogs, like that one. But she's now only reactive at, like most other ones, it stuffs down the street until she's given something to do. So the same level of anxious as opposed to being scared when they're cranky. So as soon as she, you want to cuddle? Yeah, cuddle. So if you do want to cuddle a dog, as I mentioned that they don't like it, because we always got to have positives with the negatives, ask them to come to you. So you see how she's choosing to come to here? I'm not going over there and grabbing her. Even her, if I had my hand across here, I believe she's not going to feel great or want to move a little bit. She loves it. She's happy. Right here, you can see she's starting to move away. Cody. Cody. Come here. What are you eating treats? Or deflecting. Yeah. So she's good with other dogs. So when she gets reactive or scared or worried or anxious or neurotic or whatever it is, and she's out, we give her something to do, which is generally come back, focus, sit down, relax, wait a minute, and then reset and start again. Isn't that right? You're a good dog? Yeah, you are a good dog. That's 2 ninjas. You got 3 ninjas on me. Normally don't get that close. So give your dog something else to do. Have a look at their body language when they're being anxious. Set yourself up so they're restricted, so that they can't just run around or go anywhere where they want. It's not to be cruel or to be kind, it's just to be realistic. You can't control a dog that's running away, full stop. And having a really longer the lead, the less trained the dog. So really long lead allows the dog to interact and do all these other things around the other animals that they naturally could do. Yep, they're going to get tangled up. Don't worry about stopping every time they get their legs tangled up. If they've got 3 legs tangled up, stop. If they've got 2 legs tangled up, they're going to stop. If they've got one leg tangled, those words, but in English and together as they are meant to be, good cow, you figure it out, you get in the picture. Righto, that tells me it's enough talking, so let's play Cody dog. Cody, you good cow. Phoenix, Frozen, come here. How you doing? So a wagging tail's not always a happy dog, it just means attentive. Thanks, puppy ninjutsu again. Just means being attentive. That can be a focus if you watch any of the police shows or the custom shows or things like that. The dogs are wagging their tail when they're about to go and chase a person or bite them and things along those lines, because it's a game. As soon as they're finished, they just throw that toy and play tug-of-war, which is exactly the same as you give the animal something else to do after it. But their tail wagging when they're cranky or when they've got someone that they don't like is like this. Their tail friendly is more like that. So giving them something else to do when you're out with a really anxious dog, if you've got that toy or distraction thing, and you can start to play tug-of-war with them when there's storms, when there's clouds, when there's loud music, cars backfiring, things that they're really not liking. If you can find something to do, good boys and girls who wants to play a game. Watch out for the other dogs. Yeah, you do. Okay. Move, please. Out of my face. Thanks. You want to go there? Sit. Turn around. This way. Sitting. Waiting. Stop. Okay, so now, children. Hello. Okay, one's going to Alaska. Yo, for barking. Yeah, come on, this way, Alaska, please. Casper to Alaska. Thank you. By each of the dogs having their own individual time out word. Good boy, can you stop just there? Can you come here and sit? Sitting. Good boy. That paw being lifted is a submissive gesture. They lift their paw generally when they're attentive, they're focused, or they want to show the other dogs that they don't want to hurt them or people because they're not able to respond or react whilst one paw's in the air. Same as when their tongues, when they're licking. The more the lick, the more that they want to interact, trying to say, you know, chill out. The really quick licks that don't even make it out of their mouth is saying that they're too stressed to be allowed to allow themselves to be vulnerable at that second. Dogs that are under highly anxious don't or won't like eating in a food bowl because their nose, the way they see we see the world by looking at something on a mountain. Then we can hear something that happened on a mountain. Then we can smell what happened on that mountain. They can smell what's going on that mountain before they can hear what's going on the mountain, because they can smell what's going on over the other side of the mountain, and then they can hear what's going on after that, and then they can see it. So they use a pretty much opposite way to relate information to the world. So once you've got an understanding on if their nose is down in this food bowl, it's exactly the same as someone, it's not exactly the same, but example, yeah, as someone trying to say, here's your food, good to go. And if in that food bowl, if that's their priority, that everyone says that dogs respond off food, which they do respond off food, and I understand, I have no problem with treat training or trick training or any of that sort of stuff. But in my world, I can't utilize food as an option because the animals that I work with are ones that no one else could fix, and they've tried all the rest of their things, and vets and trainers and everyone's tried, and good people, but it's just until you learn how to fix a Ferrari engine, you don't know how to fix a Ferrari engine. You can fix a Ford, a Holden, a Toyota, a Dodge, whatever it may be. You can make certain types of dresses or crocheting, but knitting is not crocheting, and then there's the whole other levels. It's the matter of with the dogs and their nose in these food bowls, they're vulnerable at that second. So if you want a dog that's freaked out to eat the food, scatter it around, and instead of them getting all the food at once, which is like, if it's their pay, come down here. If giving them all their food at once or $1,000 every day at once, that's fine, they're still getting it. But instead of that $1,000, what if I put $50 or $100 around everywhere, the office or at home or in the park, and as you're walking around you see $50, oh sweet. You don't know how much you're going to get paid, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000 that day, it'd be good. But we get that like a year. But yeah, so basically by them finding these $20, $50, $100 notes, by scattering the food around the backyard. If you're just feeding wet food, don't. Mix it up. If you've got other sort of different home cooking or other things, you can freeze it, like make them into little balls or other sort of things, or even just go outside and put bits of paper or newspaper around the house and stuff, put them away, and make the dinner or the feeding thing a bit of an event, especially on highly stressed and anxious new dogs. And then they're going to walk around in the backyard. Generally for them, I scatter biscuits and think whatever they are when you go to work, or well, not anymore from being broken, but from when I'm doing things, I'd scatter food in the backyard. So then they get to walk around and find $20 or $50. The highly anxious dogs, by not giving them the food in the food bowl and scattering it around, generally with other dogs in their own areas or away initially, it just gives them a sense of being able to walk around. And then once they're friendly with the other dogs, if then you go to a big area and scatter treats all around that area, they're sort of hunting as a pack per se. There's only a few 12 to 30 different behaviours like dog body language behaviours between wolves and dogs, of blinking because they utilise the moonlight, and hunting and like Morse code for their eyes. But with the animals that are stressed or anxious, if you can get them walking around with the other dogs in a pack sort of mentality, or around an area or in a park, and on, really, your dogs are off, the other ones are off lead, this one's still on there, scattering food out along the way. Now, if one dog is more possessive of the food, scatter one there, one there, one there. If you've got two dogs, you need 3 balls to throw, so that even if one's really possessive, the other one's still going to have one. If you've got 2 dogs, Don't just put all the food one pile there, because then they've got the chance